Welcome back to Inside Santa Barbara. Well, the city's water supply, when you take a look at it historically, seems like a tale of two cities. Over the past 100 years, we have experienced heavy rainfall and extreme drought, all affecting the city's water supply. Well, up next, City TV's Nina Sang shows us where we get this precious commodity and what the city is doing to improve the system.
Imagine a time when getting water meant having to travel long distances to various springs and wells, loading it up, then carting it back. Luckily for us, it's a lot easier now. But where does that water come from? For the city of Santa Barbara, providing quality potable water to residents is a top priority. To ensure reliability to its water customers, the city taps multiple resources. Gibraltar Reservoir and Cachuma Lake are our two main sources for water. Each is routed through a tunnel within the mountains. Offsetting the need for additional potable water, the city also relies heavily on ground and recycled water. For additional insurance in case of drought, the city became a member of the State Water Project and built a desalination facility. But to understand why this backup plan is even necessary, we need to take a step back and look at Santa Barbara's water history.
Santa Barbara has a long history of water. We have the development of the Gibraltar Reservoir and the Mission Tunnel, which date to the very early 1900s, and then was our primary water supply for many years until the 1950s when Cachuma was constructed, and that became an equally important water supply and now has surpassed the importance of Gibraltar in supplying water to Santa Barbara.
The city relies on Gibraltar Reservoir as a year-to-year source. The much larger Cachuma is a multi-year source, meaning we count on it to carry us through the years where we have little rainfall. While rainfall is extremely important, equally critical are the tunnels that connect Gibraltar Reservoir and Lake Cachuma to the city. If these tunnels fail, our major water supplies go with them.
It could collapse, and it has collapsed from time to time, and we've been able to clean it out so far, but depending on the extent of the collapse, it could be an extended outage. Could be months, could be years. And while the tunnel is closed, we're not able to get water through it.
With a history of severe droughts and tunnel collapses, the city has diversified its water portfolio to prevent what could be a catastrophic water outage.
That's another reason why groundwater is such a critical part of our supply. It could be the only potable water available to us for months at a time, so it's important for us to maintain that and have it ready for use.
Groundwater is the water that seeps deep into the ground and is stored in small spaces between the rock and soil particles. The city has 9 groundwater production wells. That water goes directly into our distribution system or to the Ortega groundwater treatment plant. As a way to keep as much water as possible allocated for drinking, the city also uses recycled water. Recycled water is used water that comes from homes and businesses and is treated at the city's wastewater treatment plant. It's used on large landscapes such as schools, parks, and golf courses. During an emergency drought, however, reservoir water would be reduced, groundwater pumping would be increased, and as much state water as possible would be ordered. This still might not be sufficient for all of Santa Barbara, so we might need to restart the desalination facility, which was built during the drought in the early 1990s. Due to the high cost of maintaining the equipment, the desalination plant is currently inactive. However, in the case of an emergency drought, it could be a significant source of water.
And having the desal plant, which we don't use on a regular basis, really adds that added level of reliability, sort of like an insurance plan, that if we got into a really bad situation, we would still be able to produce water for our citizens.
In addition to constructing the desalination plant, the city voted to join the State Water Project in 1991.
We have a very small allotment of water from that project. The most we can get in any year is 3,000 acre-feet, which is about a fifth of our water supply. But it does add to the reliability of our supply, because it means that in a period of drought we could potentially go and try and find water that other agencies were selling, and we would have the infrastructure to get it to us.
As a conduit for a critical resource, water infrastructure is continually inspected and maintained to make sure that it is dependable and meets all regulations.
Maintaining up-to-date and good infrastructure is critical to having a reliable water supply. Otherwise, we'll have pipe bursts around the city. People will be out of water, and it interrupts our roadways. Since most of our pipes are in the roadway, it can interfere with traffic flow.
Rain or shine, the city promotes water conservation. Even with multiple water sources and backup plans in case of shortages, the city relies on residents to help conserve water. It also provides them with the necessary tools to do so.
Residents should know that their water supply is extremely safe and that it is reliable, but they should also remember how valuable it is. And they should use it sparingly and remember that it's a valuable resource and that we always urge conservation.
A diversified water portfolio combined with conservation ensure that the residents of the city of Santa Barbara can go to the tap knowing that they will have clean water whatever the weather.
And to make sure you're doing your part, you can get a free water audit to analyze your household's water usage by calling 564-5460. And for more water conservation tips, visit sbwater.org. Well,